Hello, hello, grand day. Welcome to this beautiful brand new live series that we are going to be embarking upon together. And this will be taking place typically on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays at 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. But to kick off here today on this Tuesday, July 8th, we are going to go for maybe about 30 minutes to 40 minutes or so. And we're going to kick off this series and dive into basically what to look for and what is going to be coming as we continue to embark upon this journey together when it comes to Grand Rising with ChristoLight. Now, this space came to me very recently within the last week, and I felt the guidance and the spiritual pull to create a new rising container that I could go live and share valuable knowledge and wisdom for the collective with. Not just that, but we also get to foster and build community and also have very interactive conversations, whether it's just you participating in the comments or even calling in or hopping on the live screen to be a part of this journey as well. So with that being said, my name is Marcus ChristoLight, founder of Sacred Light Healing and Wellness, and this brand new series called Grand Rising with ChristoLight. This is going to be a wonderful adventure where we're going to explore different ascended masters as well as different crystal gemstones. And as we learn about these ascended masters, how they relate to our human life, and what place they hold in our multidimensional universe of creation. We will also be discovering crystals and how you can use different crystals in your everyday well-being. And we will see the correspondence of how you can use crystals to connect with certain ascended masters. And then you'll also be learning about the different flames or the different rays of light that make up the whole entire 15-dimensional matrix system that we are in. So just to give you guys a more deeper breakdown of how these spaces are going to be organized, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing a opening check-in. So we will check in with ourselves, do a self-scan of our mind, emotions, and body, which is something that I love to do, something I've really been bringing to my events, a lot of my different spaces. And basically what this mind, emotion, and body check-in does, it gives us that moment where we are going into stillness. And not only going into stillness, but we're going introspective. And we're giving ourselves that moment of what is going on in my mind that could use my attention, could use my love and my healing. Now we journey into the emotions. Where are my emotions? Could I use a little bit more of my own self-love, breathing, letting go, and circulation of my emotions? And then we make our way into the physical body, where we then go through our ailments and direct the breath consciously to those parts of our physical body that could use regeneration. So every episode I will be breaking us open with the self-scan. And it's also a nice time to check in and have inventory with self. So if you would like, feel free to grab a journal, grab something to write with, as a journal is always a wonderful partner and tool to use on our journey when we do self-evaluation. So what you can do is you can use your journal, and after we do the self-scan, you can journal out mind, emotions, body, and maybe put underneath each category, this is what I'm currently working on. This is what I would like to work on. Or even more on the positive side, this is what I've been working on, these are the results, these are the steps, or these are some of the steps I can take to start helping. So then after we do this self-check-in, we will then go into talking about the Ascended Master that we are going to be, I guess if you want to say, partnering up with during each episode. As each episode, we will connect with one different Ascended Master. So we give the time and space to thoroughly learn about each of these Ascended Masters in their own right. So we can then become aware of, okay, this specific Ascended Master brings these kind of traits and qualities that directly can support what it is that I'm working on in my human journey. So then after we learn about the Ascended Master, you guys will learn about what ray of light they connect with. And then you also learn about what crystals you can directly use to connect with that Ascended Master and that ray of light. So then you'll learn in depth about that crystal as well, the properties, the benefits, the most resonant correlations it has, including, the zodiac, planet, the element, as well as many other things. So then with that, we'll also be having some wonderful videos played throughout the series. We will also be having some interactive meditative practices that you guys can be a part of that I will lead and guide for us. And every now and then, I'm sure we may have some guests come on as well that would like to talk about these Ascended Masters, crystal healing, and beyond. So that is what this series is going to be like. It's going to be very educational, very empowering, and the whole intention and purpose is to help us become aware of our position in place in this multidimensional universe, but also the divine relationship that we have with crystals, the Ascended Masters, and the different rays of light that make up our creation. So, with that being said, let's take a moment and let's learn a little bit about what is coming up in this series.
Hey, beautiful souls. Let's dive into something magical today. Have you ever heard of the Ascended Masters? Think of them as wise, loving guardians, beings who've walked the earth, mastered their spiritual lessons, and now guide us from higher realms. They're like cosmic mentors, helping us navigate life, grow, and awaken to our true selves in this multidimensional universe. Now, everything in our universe is made of energy, right? The Ascended Masters work with powerful energies called rays of light. Each ray has its own color and vibe. There's the blue ray for protection and willpower, the pink ray for love, the gold for wisdom, and so on. These rays act like cosmic highways, carrying the Master's guidance straight into our lives, if we're open to receive it. But how do you connect to these energies? That's where crystals come in. Crystals aren't just pretty rocks. They're like little energy amplifiers. Each one vibrates at a unique frequency, and some crystals are especially tuned to work with the Ascended Masters and their rays. For example, amethyst connects with the violet ray and helps transmute negativity. Rose quartz channels the pink ray, opening your heart to unconditional love. When I meditate or set intentions with crystals, I feel like I'm dialing into a higher channel, like tuning into a cosmic radio station, where the Ascended Masters are always broadcasting support and healing. So if you're just starting your spiritual journey, try working with a crystal that resonates with the ray you want to embody. Hold it, meditate with it, or just keep it close. Trust your intuition and let these ancient allies help light your path. Remember, you're never alone in this universe. There are wise beings cheering you on, and all the tools you need are already within your reach. Keep shining and stay curious.
And thank you to the AI for that video. Just to give you guys a little bit outside perspective of what it is that is spoke on. All right. So let's go ahead and just take a moment and let's take a self-check-in before we dive into learning about the 15-dimensional matrix that we are in, as well as where the Ascended Masters are positioned when it comes to this 15D matrix that we are a part of. And along with that, we will talk about a little bit of where crystals come in when it comes to the 15-dimensional matrix, as well as our forming of our human nature. So for those of you just joining, you haven't really missed much. I was just talking about what is coming up in this series, where we explore the Ascended Masters as well as crystal healing. And right now we're going to do our self-check-in and self-scan. So feel free to get comfortable. And again, you can grab your journal for after this. But I'm going to go ahead and hit this singing bowl here. And it's attuned to 432 hertz. So you guys can do your own research if you would like about 432 hertz and the different frequencies of the solfeggio scale. But long story short is 432 hertz is a balancing force that is in tune with the rhythm of Mother Gaia, Mother Earth. So that 432 is a natural balancing force for our human being due to it being from Mother Gaia. So as we do the self-check-in, I'm just going to guide us with the breath, first through the mind, through the emotions, and then through the body. So get a very nice and comfortable posture for your body. You can sit or lay for this, or you can even stand if you have to. And the key is we're focusing on the breath, and we're going within each section of ourself, mind, emotion, body. Relaxing the shoulders, relaxing our toes, relaxing our jaw, and just focusing on the breath. Breathing in through the nose, drawing that breath all the way through the body, and then exhaling out of the mouth. In through the nose, down the body, and out of the mouth. All right, so just continue to focus on this breath cycle, breathing in through the nose, through the body, and out of the mouth. And you may continue to breathe at your own pace, at your own rate, and know that there's no right or wrong to how fast or slow. Just continue to focus on that breath as we are now going to bring our focus consciously to our mental body, the mind. Breathing into the mind. As we observe, not attach, but observe our mental body. Is there anything in the mind that is racing or scattered? If so, just welcome it with the breath and continue your pattern. Welcome it with love, peace, and no fear. Observing the mind, do we have any attachments to the past or future? Are we worried about later today? Last night? If so, breathing with these energies as they release. So we are here in the now moment, feeling the divine, the presence of the source. And as we continue to breathe, we are breathing in healthy beliefs, healthy mental patterns, thought forms that align with Christ consciousness, that align with upliftment and support. And just give yourself one final evaluation of your mental health. Have you been struggling, or are you doing well? Just be honest with yourself in this moment so you can breathe unconditional love into your being. All right, now we're going to go ahead and continue to breathe and make our way into focusing into our emotional body. Breathing and focusing on our emotions. So this is allowing ourselves to feel our feelings, dropping out of the mind, and with the breath, dropping into the body. Breathing into the emotional body, observing, not absorbing. Am I stagnant in my emotional flow due to resistance, fear, rejection? Have I been closing down my expressions for the sake of others? Breathing with these emotions so that they may release and pour. Analyzing the emotions. Have I been under emotional? Is it hard for me to get a spark? Is it hard for me to feel passion, connection to life? If so, breathe the breath of life to ignite your fire. Continuing to analyze the emotions. Am I being over emotional? Is my emotions taking over my intelligence? Am I being consumed by my unconscious emotional energy? Am I projecting on others? Am I controlling in subtle ways? Just being honest and loving ourselves with the breath. Feeling our river begin to stream more clear and more fluid through our emotional system. Now bring your way to focusing to our physical body, directing the breath to the physical, feeling our cells, feeling our blood, feeling our muscles and tissue and ligaments, feeling the neural network, feeling the brain, feeling all the activity of these conscious and living beings that make up your physical body. What messages do they have for you in this moment with their connection to consciousness, the God Source Creator? Does our physical body need more rest? need more stretching, more hydration? Does it need more creating? Does it need more service, as in more Reiki, more yoga, more cupping, whatever it may be, sound healing? And then lastly, what has our physical body been telling us about our diet? Is what we are eating and drinking supporting our body? Or are we kind of lying to ourselves because of pleasure and falsehood of sensation? Let's just be honest in this moment. And as we close out this self-scan, guiding the breath to bring any balance necessary to the mind, emotions, and body. All right, so thank you to all of you that received and were a part of that moment. And go ahead and take your time returning back to center within your physical avatar. I'm going to burn a little bit of dragon's blood sage for us to help ignite and raise up our frequency a little bit. Dragon's blood is a beautiful, beautiful natural element of the earth that is used in many different forms, whether it's through incense, sage, and many other burning techniques to allow the energy and the wonderful, beautiful smells and aromas and therapeutic values that it brings for our being. Just like white sage, just like copal, frankincense, myrrh, things like that. And dragon's blood is also connected to our dragon lineage of the earth, the guardian dragons. And what are the guardian dragons good for? Well, they connect us to our ancient mother. Not just our ancient mother, but divine abundance, good fortune as well. So that's why we ignite our dragon ancestors and dragon family. And you're welcome, Jessica. Thank you for tuning in on the Facebook side. And yeah, feel free to drop any comments that you guys feel throughout these lives. Ask questions, as you can go ahead and say that this is a live Q&A as well. And just know that there is no bad question when it comes to these spaces, because this level of knowledge that I'm about to share with you guys is quite expansive, quite deep. So if you have questions, please ask, because this is meant to be a loving, free, and open educational space, but also, fun, enjoyable, and a beautiful balanced flow. So again, if you guys have your journals, feel free to journal right now if you would like. Anything that has arisen or risen within you during that self-scan. And I'm going to go ahead and now start breaking down and diving into the 15D time matrix system of our multidimensional universe. I'm sure you guys have heard about the Tree of Life, Kabbalah, the 10-dimensional grid, the 12-dimensional grid. So this is about the whole entire 15-dimensional universal time matrix that we're a part of. All right, so if you guys look here at this beautiful, beautiful matrix grid, so you can see here that not only is there that middle grid, but there's also parallel versions of these grids as well. So you can see that this says the phantom matrix. So the phantom matrix, which we may touch on a little bit later on in this series, but it's not going to be one of our main focuses right now. But the phantom matrix is basically the distorted or the shadow version of our balanced organic blueprint. And I can give you example upon example of how you can see the phantom matrix taking place in our world. Prime example is this governing system and whole entire system that this planet has been in for the last hundreds of years has been a phantom matrix system. It's built off of falsehood, half-truths, manipulation, greed, lies, control, propaganda. Those are all things that make up the phantom matrix system. And then you have the particle universe. The particle universe is our organic 15-dimensional universe that we are a part of and embody. So the antiparticle is basically the pure matrix that is only just light with no shadow and no phantom to it. The particle universe is a balance. It's a balance of the shadow and the antiparticle, the divine and the shadow. So I'm going to zoom in just a little bit more for you guys. And trust me, I'm not expecting you guys to catch all this on the first time. There's still a lot for me to learn as well. So we're going to learn together. So when you look at this, this diagram here, and it may be just a tad bit blurry for you guys, but when you look at this diagram here, you can see that it says the acadic level, the polaric level, and the triadic level. So these first three levels are where the Ascended Master realms are. And these Ascended Masters are the first within this time matrix to basically carry forward the law of one. What do I mean by the law of one? I mean the organic blueprints, the balancing truth of what the universe and creation is. Because within all of our opinions, within all of our feelings, within all propaganda and distortion, there is still a balanced, unconditional, eternal truth that is blueprinted throughout creation that allows creation to be what it is eternally. So with that, the creator or source, just like you hear in just about every culture and every single story, the creator source duplicated its own self to experience itself through a time matrix. So Source is all permeating nothingness, has no form, no sense of individualness or any of that. And then there was the will, you can say the will of God, the will of Creator, the will of Source, wanting to experience its own self through many forms. So then from there, that's when the time matrices were created. And there's many time matrices out there. The one that we're covering is just the one for our Milky Way galaxy of existence that we are in currently. So, as the Creator duplicated and created through its own self into form, the Ascended Masters come in as the Source, as the Creator, now in different forms, to be able to act as basically pillars or guardians that carry out and allow creation to be. So these Ascended Masters, when you're in an Ascended Master Council or you're in an Ascended Master position, you're then staying in that realm to help occupy and serve the whole. And what I mean by that is, when you're up in the higher council, a higher vibrational dimension, you're helping those that are in lower dimensions as they continue to climb the ladder of their human ascension journey. It's like a cycle, and it's like a perfectly designed cycle too, where souls ascend, descend, ascend, descend, incarnate, death, incarnate, death, incarnate, death. And what happens is, due to the vibration that we are, through the different densities of our soul journey, we then take different positions and different roles depending upon what vibrational density we're in. And keep in mind too that this is all one. So even when the Ascended Masters turn into different forms and you have different avatars and characters, it's still that one pure Source experiencing itself through many forms. So when it comes to the Ascended Masters, it's something that is very natural, it's very organic when it comes to our soul journey. You can't just really say, oh, I'm an Ascended Master, and now you're an Ascended Master form. It's something that we have to develop and become through our soul journey. And the beauty is that we are all Ascended Masters in training. So some of us have already accomplished that on a soul level and chose to incarnate here on the earth during this time, help assist in the ascension process of Mother Gaia. While other souls that are maybe, if you want to say, younger when it comes to the soul journey, they're working their way through the different dimensions of existence, going through their lessons, going through their growth, in order to ascend to a higher Ascended Mastery at some point. And we all are on our way. All paths lead to one. So once you move down from those top three octaves, if you want to say, or dimensions, you then guys can see that there is dimension 15, 14, and 13. So 15, 14, and 13 is where we begin to now go into density. So we are in a 15-dimensional time matrix system here. And 15 to 13, these are the founder flames. These are the founder rays of light that make up the forces of our creation. You guys may have heard of this as the threefold flame. So the threefold flame is the violet or pink flame, the yellow or gold flame, and the blue flame. Now, we'll be going in depth and touching on each of those flames later on in this series. For now, we're just going over the overall umbrella of what this is and what we're diving into. So dimension 1513 is also not separate, but it is not directly involved in being affected by the 12 dimensions and below. The 12 dimensions and below, that gets more into material and density of manifestation. So when it comes to the 12th dimension, that's why you see Kabbalah, 12-dimensional grids, 12 chakras, because we have 12 basically materialized, or I don't want to say materialized, but forming dimensions. And our form isn't just physical. We're also form in the astral. We are form mentally and emotionally. These are also different dimensional forms of ourself. So I'm going to take a moment, take a pause for anybody that's live right now. And feel free to drop any questions in the comments if you have any in this moment about the Ascended Masters or this universal matrix that we're in this moment. All right, so no comments or questions. So I'm gonna go ahead and share this as well. This is from ascensionglossary.com. This is a wonderful website. It's probably one of my favorite websites that you can use to really get an understanding about our galactic and universal knowledge in a very scientific and an in-depth way. So I'm gonna go ahead and read this to you guys. The Universal Time Matrix. This is a map of all of the timelines in which the consciousness moves that you are simultaneously taking place within the entire time matrix. It is the mathematical program by which consciousness experiences time and matter. The cosmic structure contains 6 15-dimensional universal time matrices for the purpose of consciousness individualization into dimension. In order to experience the perception of time, and to which are collectively referred to as the time matrix, the universal time cosmology of 12 dimensions of simulation time-space cycles within a 15-dimensional wave spectrum, each harmonic universe is equal to the triad of spiritual identity that our consciousness evolves through as our personality, which is the first, second, and third dimension, our soul, which is the fourth, fifth, and sixth dimension, our oversoul or monad, which is our 7, 8, and ninth dimension, avatar Christos, which is the 10, 11, and 12th dimension, and founder consciousness, the 13, 14, and 15. So these are all different levels of consciousness that is embedded within each and every one of us human beings. I'm going to repeat that again. All of these 15 dimensions are all embedded within each and every one of us. No more, no less. It's embedded within Yeshua. It's embedded within Mother Mary. It's embedded within Krishna. It's embedded within myself. And it's embedded within you. So, the universal tree of life. Every aspect of creation and its life spiral are designed and instructed through these blueprint structures, which contain multiple arrangements and layers of vibrational spectrum of frequency. This is the universal tree of life. Learning to travel consciously through the vibrational quality of the tree of life is to travel through multiple dimensions of time. It is the personal pathway to achieve spiritual sovereignty and energetic freedom, which is referred to as GSF, God, Sovereign, and Free. Okay. So then it goes a little bit further, and you guys can always read about this and check it out on your own. But it goes further into the 12D tree of grid, or the tree grid, Kabbalah. And there's a lot more too as well on that site. Okay. So now, boop. I'm going to read this to you guys. And this is from that first site. It's called earth1111.com for anybody that wants to check it out. So it talks about here how 12 dimensions plus 3 pure sound light fields that are really in a dimension. They are moving freely, infinitely beyond the universal time-space, not locked into a specific dimension. So there's 15 dimensions and beyond. So they even say here, 12 dimensions, 12 chakras. So that's why we have a 12 chakra system. If you guys haven't learned about the 12 chakras, you guys can actually just go right on over to the YouTube channel, Sacred Light Broadcast Network, and you can go to Light Body Awareness 101 in my playlist. And I have a episode dedicated on the chakra system. And actually part 2 is where I go over the 12 chakras. So the 7 chakras is like the foundation to our physical human life. And then the 12, that starts to go into our metaphysical and oversoul life. And yeah, just like it says here, 7 chakras of the body are physical, 5 chakras of the body are pre-matter. Now, pre-matter is just another term for etheric, metaphysical, light body, energy body. That's pre-matter because it's that in-between stage right before you turn into matter. That's why it's called meta-physical. Between physical and pure light. So a little bit more side bonus. Density 1 is carbon matter. Density 2 is carbon etheric matter, the beginning of ascension. Density 3 is etheric matter, crystalline body, which is where we are as human beings on this earth. We are in density 3 currently with our crystalline body that we are trying to activate and bring online. And now where we're heading in this present moment, and some of us have already attuned our bodies to this, is density 4, which is hydroplasma. This is where we're more lucid, metaphysical. We're living in the energy field more than the physical field. And we are accessing more of our plasma body. And then you have density 5, which is antimatter. And this is where you're just in a pure state of infinite light and sound. And you're not attached, you're not worried about, you're not living your life based off of the third and physical nature of life. And these are all, again, mental states of embodiments that we can all embody within our being through various practices, disciplines, and ways of life. Alrighty. So now we're going to go ahead and talk about, I would really like to talk about the Ascended Masters through Ascension Glossary to see what they have to say about that. Okay, so Ascended Master. An Ascended Master is a highly evolved group. Highly involved group level of consciousness that exists beyond the dimensionalized time matrix. They are not informed as we would know it. Ascended Master is a term that is highly misunderstood within the metaphysical and New Age movement. The commonly known Ascended Masters that are channeled frequently are mostly our human spiritual elder brothers and sisters that have gone beyond the reincarnation cycle of the 3D Earth. However, mostly, they are existing within the 5th and 7th dimensional bands of our future. They are considered more like a kindergarten Ascended Master, as they have not achieved the true Ascended Mastery that would take them outside of our dimensional system or time matrix. Many humans that think they are channeling masters are channeling astral entities in the 4th dimension that are misinterpreting themselves. This is why learning about our spiritual anatomy that explains the dimensional levels are important. One can employ more discernment with this understanding. The Guardians refer to the true meaning of Ascended Mastery as not being the term to those identities that have progressed into a partial ascension process. These beings are as valued and loved. However, it is more appropriate to understand them as our elder brothers and sisters assisting the human family in the current ascension process. Many of them do not possess the knowledge that resides within our higher self-God identity. An Ascended Master is a highly evolved group level of consciousness that exists beyond the dimensionalization of the time matrix. Okay. So yeah, the Ascended Masters, they don't just keep on descending down into incarnation cycles. What happens is, from where they are, they're able to basically shapeshift their energy at will into different rays of light. And then these rays of light penetrate through the octave scale of our universe through sound, frequency, and light. And then the sound, frequency, and light waves go through the dimensions in descension down into the densities, and they turn into different forms. The more that they continue to go down the densities, the more they multiply into different forms of these different rays and lights. And then you get hybrids as we go along. Different rays become hybrids with other rays of light, and it creates different forms, different beings, different avatars. And keep in mind, this is all the one creator, duplicating itself to experience itself in many forms through the ascended masters of itself. So, in essence, we all have some type of connection to being an ascended master that is now on a journey in this third dimension and other dimensions to remember itself. So some of these ascended masters that you've heard about, you have Yeshua, you have Mary Magdalene, you have Saint Germain of the Violet Flame, you have Kuan Yin, you have El Morya. You also can think of Krishna, Shiva, Isis. These are all examples of ascended masters. And the reason why they're so prevalent and why they're so timeless when it comes to our human psyche is because of their ascended mastery. And due to their level of vibration of ascended mastery, this is why they're able to imprint and have such an effect on a high level, because of the self-work and achievements that they have done on their soul journey. And it's the same for all of us. As we go through these journeys, the more that we continue to ascend, the deeper we become, then the more of an imprint we can leave on this planet. So with that being said, as we begin to kind of move towards closing out, I'm just going to go ahead and talk a little bit about crystals real quick and where crystals come into all this. So crystals are another form or another body as well of the source experiencing itself. But when we learned about the ascended masters and how they are in the higher councils, and then they descend and basically put their energy through different light and sound spectrums down the dimensions, crystals are a part of those forms that capture and take in the light and dimensions of the spectrum. Just like our human being, just like animals, just like plants, and other things that are conscious and living, crystals are as well. So if you look here at this selenite tower, this selenite tower that you're looking at here, this is the physical avatar of the spiritual energy that is being captured and transmitted through this vehicle right here. So just like this physical body of mine, this crystal is a vehicle for spirit, for the ascended energies. The different colors of light spectrum, the vibration, the mineral content, the shape, the color and the vibration, the energy, it all correlates and relates to what ascended energy is this bringing into this third dimensional realm. So these crystals that we're looking at are basically like beacons, or as you say, the temple for spirit. So yes, crystals are conscious, and they just have a lower dimensional consciousness or density that they're working with, so to say. Where we have third dimension, we have speaking language and all these different things because of that. They don't need to speak language. They don't need to get up and build things. They're just here to be this right here, this form for our service. And then we act of service to the crystals by guiding them into purposes and usages here in this realm. And it actually helps the crystal spirit develop its soul journey as it continues on its journey. Quite fascinating. So last thing I also want to say about the crystals is that, you know, they also carry blueprints, just like everything else as well. So their blueprint is going to tell you what benefits, what characteristics it spiritually and mind, body, and soul brings into our life. So when you look at something like amethyst, this is a chevron amethyst for all of you guys out there. Amethyst is coated in this beautiful purple and violet energy. And if you learn about the violet flame, which is one of our threefold flames, then you learn that purple and violet is connected to transmutation. It's connected to healing. So, with the violet flame being one of our founder flames, this right here is an embodied form of the violet ray spectrum. And this is what the violet ray is known for: transmutation. So when we work with certain crystals like this one right here, this is a way that we can directly connect with the violet ray spectrum. And then as we continue, you're going to learn with the violet ray, there's different ascended masters that you can connect with to help work with these rays. So you could connect with amethyst and then intentionally connect with Saint Germain. And then you can work with Saint Germain and amethyst to help bring more of that into your consciousness and more into your life. So we're going to learn a lot more about crystals and the ascended masters and how we can really tangibly bring this into our human life in a way that we can understand, not feel so separate or so far away from all of this knowledge, and how it really is right here within our hands, within us, and also is us as we're a part of this universal matrix. So with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and close this space out for today. And I really appreciate you guys that have tapped in and tuned in. And we will be continuing tomorrow. Tomorrow rising at 9 a.m. Eastern, we will dive into the threefold flame. So we will learn in depth about what the threefold flame is, how it relates to our universal time matrix, and then how you can consciously interact and use different practices and activities to be more in tune with your inner threefold flame. With that being said, take a moment to close out the space. Feel free to get cozy again. Relax the body, relax the shoulders, and focus on your breath. I'm going to play a little bit more of the 432 hertz to help bring us to center and help us process this deep knowledge that we have acquired today in this space. And again, stay in tune, because we'll be back tomorrow at 9 a.m. And then this is something that's going to be continuing, most likely on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays in the rising. So we can help cultivate and come into a deeper sense of awareness of who we are as we rise and come together. Focusing on our breath. just take a moment to bring our hands to prayer form, to the center of our heart, and just feel the presence of the All Creator within the heart. And just take a breath as we close out. Thank you for joining me to have a beautiful rising on this Tuesday. And let's continue to do this together. Let's continue to cultivate these beautiful rising spaces so that we can start our days in really, really beautiful, transcending ways. So we can feel the connection to spirit, to our higher selves, our guides, and let go of the outer noise, chaos, and complications of the world. Please like, share, and subscribe. Let family, loved ones, and community know about this space and more spaces I hold as we continue on, so that we can continue to focus our mental, emotional, and physical energy to manifest and embody the things that we truly want to see in this world. Letting go of the rest and focusing on the divine through the noise. Thank you guys for joining me and being a part of this beautiful, beautiful start. Wholeness and balance.